Hello and welcome back to Jones Codes. Continuing my I'm continuing my very simplistic basic series of C sharp fundamentals, and if you've been following along today, we did a brief, very general overview, starting out with the .NET framework, what C sharp is as far as it being an object-oriented programming language. I'm sorry, I'll start that over. What C sharp is being an object-oriented programming language, very versatile, very handy, and how it works inside the .NET framework. It uses common language runtime and the .NET framework class libraries. We started off with variables and kind of how they hold reserved space, memory space in your program to execute different things. And then of course kind of went into, as new people like myself, when you look at a block of code, how to read, you know, how variables are kind of essentially laid out. They're laid out with a data type, a name, and a value usually. Not always a value, but usually. And then just getting used to that repetition. And then we went into, one of the normal things you'll segue into are conditional statements. Will help you execute different kinds of things in your code. So we started with an if statement, which is a conditional statement that evaluates whether or not something is true, and then you can use an if-else statement in case the first thing isn't true, and it will execute another function. So the next thing, of course, is that again, this is something you'll typically run into with most programs out there, or places you can learn these programming languages on or at, are nested if statements. So we'll stick with the similar layout here, and so a nested if statement basically it's basically, again, just as it sounds, you're nesting different. You're basically checking the if statement and whether or not it's true to execute something. Okay, so let's just say we'll leave this an integer data type. We'll leave that named grade, and we'll leave it with a value of 90. So let's just say we'll start with this if statement here. We'll do a little switcheroo on this. Let's just say if grade is less than or equal to 50, okay, we'll do, let's see here. I'm sorry, if it's greater than or equal to 50, let's do 70. I like 50. Okay, 70. We'll say you passed. Okay. Now, with nested if statements, what's kind of cool is that you can actually leave it. I believe you can leave. Yeah, you can leave it in here if I remember correctly. So if your grade is equal to 100, let's just say they really crushed it, right? They crushed this exam. We'll do console dot, oops, all right, on. We'll say you scored perfect, a perfect score, right? And then let's see, and then we'll change this down here. We'll leave the else statement. We'll change this down here to you failed. Okay, so here's what we have now. We're going to say the student finished their exam. We inputted their exam into our program. Our program read the information. It tabulated that their score was 90, and our nested if statements here are, hey, if your grade was greater than or equal to 70, we're going to execute the WriteLine method, and we're going to say you passed. And on the outside chance, if your grade was equal to 100, we're going to say, hey, not only did you pass, you did perfect. And any other option besides those two, because then we're talking about anything below this, we're going to say you failed. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this to run. Excuse me. You passed. There you go. So we didn't get our super fun yet, perfect. Uh, we passed. We got a 90. We passed. We did pretty well in the exam overall. So, and that is an example of a nested if statement. So with these statements and, executing different lines and checking on things to see if they're true or false and executing this or that based on the results, it's actually really, to me, it's very interesting and very cool. And these are very basic examples, obviously, but once you get into things a little bit more deeply, it gets to be even more fun. You can actually, I believe you can actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think you can actually nest an unlimited number of if-else statements, which seems kind of crazy, but you can. And so the next video we'll have coming up will show how to use a switch statement, which is something that from everything that I've read and done so far is something you should use when you have several options, like a tremendous amount of options to select from. You should use a switch statement. So we'll do that in the next one coming up here.